The question is, were we actually about 80% correct with our predictions, with our assertions, with our ideas for the finale of Loki? And I'm not saying Loki season 2, I'm saying Loki because I don't think we're getting Loki season 3.
We were correct.
Right.
I would say we're actually close to like a 90% correct.
Whoa.
I think we actually panned out basically the whole picture. And I think if we'd given it a little bit more time on camera, you would have seen we were basically 100% correct. We don't want to be those people,
No,
you know?
I don't want to do that, because then it makes it seem like, oh, we so smart, but I just think the writing is so bad in most cases nowadays that it just comes to that end point.
Yeah, but you've clarified that now. We're not saying we so smart. We're saying they so dumb.
Yeah, I think it was kind of see-through from basically halfway through the season as to what the end point of the story was going to be. But we've got to do Fact of the Day before we do anything else, and we're going to go with page number 161, fact number
1.
Gatwick, the name of the UK's second largest airport, means the farm where goats are kept.
You know, I never knew that.
I didn't either. You know, that's one to bust out when you're at Gatwick and you're talking to some of the staff there. When they're making you take off your shoes, making you take off your belt. Oh, do you know what Gatwick actually means? And they'll say, you're coming over to the side. You know what? There's something shady about you.
You get special check for you. That's what you get.
Hey, NarendraTheComic, and yes, right now we're going to be doing our review of Loki Season 2, Episode 6, the finale. And while it was actually a decent episode, the pacing was good, the structure was good, it was far too predictable from the things we said in our previous reviews. And you guys can go and watch those if you haven't seen them, but I think we basically hit the nail on the head in almost every instance with this finale. We said there's going to be time jumping. We said Loki is probably going to have pruned himself when it was in episode 1, when we didn't know who had pruned Loki.
That's true, we did.
We said, who's done that? Is it actually another Loki?
Yeah, we did. You know, now thinking back, we were bang on the money about too many things.
It was very, very high in our accuracy levels.
Yeah. One thing I will say with this finale that I wasn't expecting is Loki ending up as powerful as he ended up.
This guy might actually need to be taken off the board because of the level of power they gave him.
They basically made him the Time Stone, as well as his already godly Loki powers, right? That's next level when it comes to the power scale within the MCU of what we've seen. He is now A++ tier. With the way that they pinned his story, him becoming the curator of time and holding time together, it made sense. He was becoming this selfless version of Loki, the god he knew he needed to be, the one he didn't know he could become, the one who cared about people he'd never even met before. That version, go from Neil to I'm gonna give up my whole life for you.
Carry the weight of the universe on my shoulders.
Yeah, but I'm disappointed that they've done this to this character, because that means that I guess the next time we see him in the films, it's gonna be when he's getting got. And I don't like that.
It's either him getting got or him getting spat out of the pocket universe he's in.
Right.
And then being a main player in an Avengers movie, whether that be Avengers 5 or Avengers 6. Overall, I think that there were a lot of good things about this episode, other than it being very predictable, which is a big, big negative, a big, big red flag. I think Tom Hiddleston and his acting was absolutely phenomenal in this episode. You really saw his range in this 50 minutes.
Oh yeah, absolutely spectacular. Every single millisecond I was enjoying, and every single moment where he was looking down the camera, I felt it in my soul, right? His eyes are just so emotive. He did such a great job. Now on the flip side to this coin, Sylvie.
You know, I don't think she's being played badly necessarily by the actress. I just think she's a really, really unlikable character. Not every character needs to be likable. There are some characters you just don't like, and I think she's just one of those.
See, I get that, but I don't think they're pinning her to be an unlikable character.
I think they are at this point.
Really?
Yeah, the way they ended it was, I'm gonna go off and do my own thing. Loki's given us a chance. How nice of him, right?
Honestly.
He's really doing a good job there. But I'm gonna go on a gap year or a gap life and just decide to do what I want.
Stop. When we saw B-15 going into the war room, I was like, of course, Sylvie heading up the war room.
That
She's
makes
decided
sense.
that I need to be the person to head the TVA to make it a better place. Loki's now given up the rest of eternity for everyone out there to have a chance. It's up to me to take up the other side of the reins and be a better person. Set the example from the top down.
Be the change you want to see.
No. I'm going on vacation, boys. What? Sorry, what?
Oh god, absolutely disastrous character work, but it does fit with the character they've made for her.
Selfish.
I might not like it, but it does fall in line. I do think that Kang came off actually as a more intimidating character in this season than in the last one. In this episode where we got some more interactions with him and Loki, it was, oh shit, you really had all your shit together and you knew what you were doing. And what we said in our previous reviews was correct. Loki was inherent to the creation of the TVA. He was implicit in the construction of it from the start. And Kang and He Who Remains knew that and put that in place so everything could happen after that point.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. I will say I liked that from the writers in the idea where they took Loki coming back to the same moment, and Kang looks at him and goes, how many times have you done this before? Even though this was the place beyond time and sacred timeline had stopped, he still had an idea of what was coming because he was actually still in charge without being in charge.
But that's what he said to him. He said, did you really think I would let her kill me?
Yeah.
So I had to play this elaborate plan out so you would understand, Loki, that she can't do this. Otherwise, this all falls apart. And the loom itself being basically the ultimate pruner, I didn't see that. That's probably the only thing I didn't predict happening.
Yeah.
So that was a nice little shift of, okay, that's actually really, really underhanded by Kang.
Yeah, but I like it because it really tells you how prepared he is. And the idea that the TVA will come and go. That's not really the big thing we need. It's the loom. And then the idea that Loki goes, wait a minute, I am the guy who just says, no. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to destroy the loom.
But that was also after him becoming a metaphysics genius over hundreds of years. And it was earned. The way they did it, even though we didn't see any of it, the way they structured it was, all right, I guess that's how it is. And I bought it.
Yeah, they did a good job with those first 10 minutes, actually seeing the trials and errors, seeing his face just drain of colour bit by bit. Again. We have to do it again. And Mobius just being like, wait.
Something's wrong here. What are you doing? But the amazing thing is that could have felt so stale so quick. And each time they did it, it didn't.
Yeah.
So they did a very good job with the time skipping, with going back to the same point 6, 7, 8 times, in which it felt fresh every single time.
One thing about this that I'm kind of sad about is that we got to see Loki in his truest hero moment.
Yeah.
When he was going through the centuries, figuring out how to do things, becoming a metaphysics, engineering, everything sort of engineer to fix the loom over centuries and centuries. That was his Doctor Strange Dormammu moment. And that's happening in the TV show. And it's not happening in the true timeline that most people are going to see within the films. And then we had the secondary part where he's becoming He Who Remains, who sits at the end of time, holding onto the branches of time so everyone else gets a chance.
Essentially, in him doing that, he's kind of become Doctor Strange from What If, where the Watcher said, you've caused too much multiversal damage, but the only way you can actually manage this is if you take control of this pocket universe and you manage it yourself. In that case, we can manage the multiverse, but if you don't, there will be catastrophic damage. That's what happened in What If. And I think Loki had his own moment of that again at the end of this show, with him basically sitting on the throne, burdened with his glorious purpose. As we said in episode 5, what is his glorious purpose? Is it actually handling the multiversal timeline? Check, correct, we were right. We said it weeks and weeks ago because it was the only way you could actually get around it and make it make sense. Then right at the end, we saw that shot of the green tree emerging from the clouds and from the dust. And it seems like the way they structured it was that he is at the heart of Yggdrasil. And I'm not sure if that was just a reference point as to that's the way he sees himself now, and that's the way he made that feel, or if he is actually the heart of the 9 realms now. I don't know if that was implied or if that was actual.
You know what, that's a good point. It could be both. He's taking his own imagery for what he's creating and the way he's weaving everything together. He's imagining it as Yggdrasil. But
so is that actually his own imagination and him putting that forward, or is that actually the case where he is the person keeping it together and all the 9 realms being in that situation? So Thor's glorious purpose is to protect the 9 realms, but Loki's is to protect the multiverse and kind of superseding Thor in that.
He kind of is going above. His throne is that above.
And beyond. Maybe the Beyonder. I won't get into that. There's other stuff that I feel that could potentially be touched on in the future if they choose to make a Loki season 3 or if he's in other movies. But it's probably too much nerding out for right now because we're just fresh off watching it and I need to think about that more to see how you'd structure that in terms of a story. But they did a good job with season 2. Season 1 was trash. It was awful. It destroyed the MCU single-handedly. And I don't think this has fixed the MCU, but at least it gave good characterization for Tom Hiddleston's version of Loki.
Yeah, I will say that. I think this is actually setting the MCU on the right path. We can't say it's going to be the perfect path, which is hopeful when you think about it, considering we came into this season being like, nah, one episode, we'll give it one episode and we'll see how it goes. And bit by bit, they were gaining our trust back.
There were dips. Episodes 4 and 5 were a little bit blah, not that great. But they weren't dumpster fire trash like season 1.
Yeah.
So we thought we'll continue watching because there's been an improvement in the show. And they ended it relatively well. So, I don't think we're getting Loki season 3. I'm not sure how you would even begin to structure that season if you were to do it. But if they made it, I'd consider watching it.
I'd consider watching it if we're actually getting Loki and not Sylvie's Loki. Because Loki has now been set in his position, Sylvie's off to see the universe. So Loki season 3 could be Sylvie taking on Kangs and other villains.
Sign me off. Sign me off, sign me out. I don't want any of that. Anyway, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel down there. If you didn't, Loki gonna come after. He will burden you with all of his glorious purpose. And you don't want that, do they want that? No, so just subscribe anyway to avoid that. I've been NarendraTheComic.
I've been on Sensei.
She's been on Sensei. You've been Graham. We'll see you next time. That's tomorrow. If you don't know, make a video every single day. Been doing it every day for over 5 years now, and we aren't stopping until we get to 10,000 subscribers. So do subscribe. Pop back again tomorrow for some more quality shitty content. So hashtag never not here. Just how it goes. Also bring the bakwas means nonsense and Punjabi. We also bring a lot, bring a little, do a lot, do a little, but we do indeed bring the quantity of shitty content on a daily basis. So see you tomorrow for more of the same, slightly different, but essentially the very same. Once more, see you then. Skadoosh.
I got you! I got you! Take that, you friggin' psycho! I got you!